Michael Jackson, channeled message with Ute Wilhelm, August 7th, 2012, 7:30 CEST. Before I read Michael's message to you, I would like to tell you first what he had told me about his death back in 2009, when I asked him if he was really murdered, as this would be what me and so many others had felt from the very beginning. Michael answered me. First, they killed me emotionally. You can kill a person emotionally. Then they gave me the final shot. I had been dying for years. It was a long and hard dying. I went on to ask him, Michael, would you like to tell me some names of persons that are involved in the conspiracy against you? He told me 3 names. I do not open up a secret when I say that those persons are very well known to the public. One of them already passed away or had been removed, as Michael had been removed. I asked him another question. Michael, would you like to tell me some more names? This is what he answered me. You don't know them. They sit up high in very high positions, and they are very dangerous and cruel people. I will now read to you Michael's message that he asked me to put out due to all the recent as well as continuing confusion about his family and legacy. This is a message to my fans and supporters and is also meant to support my family. This shall be a message of love, support, and hope. I know the recent goings-on that have been happening concerning my children, my mother, my family, and the estate executors have been very confusing. I'm trying to clarify the situation a bit more for you and make you see behind the scenes, but I cannot go into it much deeper than I will do as for the safety of my family. They need the public, but they need to be protected at the same time. They need you and your support, and I need you to support them. I will be clear in my message, and those false executors of my estate will understand very well what I am saying here. The will is fake. This is not my last will. Those people claiming to be the executors of my estate, my legacy, allegedly appointed by myself, Michael Jackson, are lying. They were lying to me, they betrayed me, and that is why I released them years ago, back in 2003. There is enough evidence out there. They had not been authorized by me to sit there. They authorized themselves illegally with the support of just a handful of very powerful people on this earth. I had never wanted them back in my life. Never. I could not be more clear here. Those same people have now kept betraying and lying to my children, my mother, and my family, as well as to the whole world. My children and my mother, especially, as well as my family, are submitted to their control grid, which I was also submitted to when I was alive. I know many people still do not understand this, and this is truly not easy to explain and to understand when you have never been submitted to such kind of treatment and machinations. The more important it is to make it public. People who are involved with it know exactly what I'm talking about here. There is a control grid you get caught up in when you start a career, especially a very promising career. There are people behind the scenes pulling the strings. They sit in highest positions and own the entertainment industry. Lastly, they are the owners of the mass media too, and that is why there is so much false, twisted, biased, and manipulated information out there, especially when it has to do with made-up stories to cover up their dirty games and business. I'm truly, deeply concerned about my children's, my mother's, and my family's lives. When you are unsure about what piece of information is true or false, stop and think for a moment, please. Ask yourselves the following questions, and those who really know me will know the answers. Would I want my family to be treated the way they have been treated by most of the media and especially the estate executors? What they have been doing here is deprivation of liberty. My children and mother are kept, and all my family is treated like slaves and prisoners, a fact that needs investigation and should lead to the executor's immediate resignation. Why would this not have happened so far? Because of the hidden few people acting behind the scenes that protect them doing what they are doing. Better yet, doing what they are directed to do by just them, the hidden few. Would I have really chosen just those people, those who betrayed me and who I had intended to sue back then, just them to be the executors of my estate, my legacy? Think well, please. No, they do in no way act according to my wishes, and they do not protect my legacy. They sell it, exploit it, and mix it up for their own good and according to their own fixed ideas stated in their fake will. Look at their business partners, and you will understand what I mean to say. Follow the money. I do not include my colleagues here who are caught up in the same system and control grid that I was. I am concerned about their safety and lives too. You are forced to do things that you have never wanted or intended to do, or this is it. Please remember what they had been doing to me throughout my lifetime, especially prior to my death and after having me violently tossed out of my life. Yes, I was murdered, and there has been going on a conspiracy against me for a very long time that is still continuing until today. I had to be removed. I was in their way and plans, which are also outside of the entertainment industry. There are a lot of people involved in my death, and they know who they are. Having been in their way and plans is the same as what is happening to my mother now. They are applying the same pattern of treatment on my mother especially, but also on my family. This is their modus operandi. My mother is not free in her decisions. The pattern is installing fear and stress by pressure, intimidation, and extortion. They threaten your life and those of your family and friends whenever they think it to be necessary and to reach their goals, monitoring your every step. Isolation from your loved ones, who were of true help and support to get you out there and protect you. Weakening you mentally, emotionally, and physically, which at times includes that you may even be being controlled with drugs they put you under and so force you to do what they want you to do, not what is your natural right as a human being. If they do not reach their goal, they start to destroy you by endless attempts at character assassination. They rob you of everything. Tighten up the loop, and you end up all done with them making up stories about you that are not true, that are lies to cover up their evil and mean plans. The same is now happening to my children, my mother, and my family. This has been my worst nightmare that I have feared to come true. Again, they can only do all of this because they are protected by those just few behind the scenes. I truly fear for my family's lives. Would I have thrown out my family out of their home and forbid them to return? I have always loved my family. This is the answer. Here is what I politely, urgently, and desperately ask you to do. However, it will be always yourselves who will finally decide what you will do and I will respect that. Please see the truth. Please help to stop the attacks on my family and respect them just being my family. I love my family. Please support them in their legal issues and to get out the truth. Just be there with your hearts and your love. Keep them in your prayers. They need you to fight this through. This is not a happy issue and not easy to do. This is not a walk. This is very dangerous and a risk to their own lives. They fight for my children and my legacy and for justice for me. Do not believe the liars that betrayed me and lied to me too. They are out for profit and money only. They do anything other than to really care for my children and mother and to protect and continue with my legacy. Again, the estate executors do anything to turn the public against my family and use the mass media for their ugly campaign. And with the help of the mass media, they are trying to manipulate, confuse, and distract you from the truth. The mass media, the means to make facts and truth seem false. You do not get the whole picture just from the mass media. My family is fighting for having the fake estate executors removed from where they put themselves and take back my legacy for my children. Please consider all of this in your reflections. I want the estate executors and those behind them to stop their pressure, betrayal, and extortion of my mother and my family. Stop this evil and ugly behavior towards my mother. I want those fake estate executors to resign. I want the truth to be investigated and told by people who are neither on the estates or on the just few's payroll nor involved in the conspiracy against me and my family. It is time to set the record straight and tell the truth. I want all those involved in the conspiracy against me, and I want all those involved in my execution to be held accountable. The truth will come out. I agree with Randy's recent tweets and all that has been made public by my family and their lawyers. Please listen. My family is calling for help and support. Some lines of my speech back then in Harlem, as well as Randy's tweets, will be read to you again at the end of my message. Also some lines from some of my songs to remind you and the world what I had tried to tell you while I was alive. This was all not so easy for me to do. I tried to give you clues to become more and more aware of what has really been going on here in my situation and the world. Just dig a little deeper in my whole body of work, of art, and try to see the message behind it and what I had tried to tell you between the lines. You will find everything in there, but please use my pure art and work, not what they mixed up, as this would change my hidden messages. And finally, I want my mother to be my children's guardian with the help and support of my family, and for as long as she will be able to do it. She has done a wonderful and amazing job, and I trust her fully. As soon as the pressure and extortion will be taken off of her, she will be able to again do this wonderful job that she has been doing since I was tossed out of my life involuntarily and cruelly. Please choose love when interacting with one another. You know that I am all about love. You will find me there and only there. Do not let yourselves be disturbed and distracted by liars and cheaters claiming to continue with my legacy, but who are only interested in making big business and cash and keep trying to spread hatred, confusion, and misconception among my fans and supporters, and attack or do support any attacks on my family. Recall, those who do this are all one and the same club. They claim to know me, but they do not really know me, as they would act with love and this is what they are not capable of to give. They are exposing themselves by their actions and wording and contradicting themselves more and more as they keep stirring up a mess. I could go on endlessly. Please do not allow yourselves to get caught up into this by them. Calm down and follow your heart. Just one more concerning my messages put out via psychic mediums. I have always been very spiritual myself. Please remember that I often mention that I channeled my work. I know that there are some of you who have difficulties with people having such abilities. Basically, we all do have them, but it depends on each single person themselves if they believe that this is true and or want to develop and use this gift once they find out they have it. A lot of you sense my spirit, so that's it. Meaning we are all spiritual and there is nothing wrong with it. Just some people decide to work in this realm, some not, or some do totally ignore it. This is each one's own choice, as everything that we do. However, you should be really cautious and check who is genuinely working and really working with me. There are also a lot of fakes out there who just seek attention or claim to work with me just for money. Such people I contacted either once or never. The check is also not always easy to do, as the confusion created in this field as well could not be worse. However, you should sense me in my messages that are put out by psychic mediums who really work with me, and put out only what I need to say, no more nor less, and not their own interpretation. I was very grateful to have found some of them working in this realm and just being here for me when I so urgently needed some orientation and also help to process some of the things that have been happening with and around me when I was alive and after I was so violently and unexpectedly tossed out of my life and not knowing first what had happened and what to do. They took me seriously, and they took me for who I am, just Michael, not Michael Jackson the celebrity, but Michael, myself, the man, the human being. Now that I can no longer be here physically, I choose to put out a message at times via this way. When things become so bad, confusing, and dangerous, as it has become now for my children, mother, and family, I must take the opportunity and speak out loud. It is not easy for me to see, watch, and bear all this without having the opportunity to myself directly intervene because I was robbed of my body. Therefore, I thank those psychics for having the courage to put out my messages. I know what that means, and they do it too. They are not into attracting any attention to their person themselves, but only to help me on this level. If they were into attracting attention to themselves only, and not really interested in what I need to say and put out, I would never go there anymore. Please understand this. I thank you all for your prayers and good wishes. I have heard them all, and this has helped me so much. I would not like to miss just one of you, my friends, those who really love me. I love and I need you all. Please keep on. From my deepest, barest soul, I thank all of you very, very much for your loyalty to me and for speaking up on my behalf. Perhaps this will help some more people to come forward as well. I thank all of you so much for being so courageous and dedicated to me, my children, and our planet and all who live on it. I thank all of you who have been loyal to my mother and my family despite all attempts to slander and bash them. I thank you all for standing up for truth and justice for those without a voice who need yours. Thank you very much for your love, for keeping up the effort to unite and stand united. Please keep going to bring about the change. Thank you for having listened to my message, and please help and support my family. I will always love you, Michael. Well, now I'm continuing with a Harlem speech. And there was Jackie Wilson, just on and on, unlimited great talent. It's very sad to see that these artists are really paying for they created so much joy for the world, and the system, the millionaire record companies totally, it's not like they always say, they built a big house, they spend a lot of money and bought a lot of cars and stupid excuses, not compared to what artists make. I just need you to know this. This is very important what we are fighting for, because I'm tired. I'm really, really tired of all the manipulations. I'm tired of how the press is manipulating everything in this situation. They do not tell the truth. They lie. They manipulate our history books. The history books are not true. It's a lie. The history books are lying. You need to know that. You must know that. All injustice, you got to remember something. The minute I started breaking all-time records sales, I broke all-time records. The minute I made the all-time best-selling albums in the history of world records, overnight they called me a freak, they called me a homosexual, they called me a child molester. They said I tried to bleach my skin. They said everything to turn the public against me. This is all complete conspiracy. You have to know this. It's time for a change, and let's not leave this building and forget what has been said. Put it into your heart, put it in your subconscious mind, and let's do something about it. You have to, we have to. It's been a long, long time coming, and the change is got to come. So let's hold our torches high and get the respect we deserve. I love you. I love you. I want to say, please don't put this in your heart today and forget it tomorrow. We will not have accomplished our purpose. If that happens, this has got to stop. That's why I'm here with the best to make sure it stops. I love you, folks. Thank you, and remember, we are all brothers and sisters, no matter what color we are. Randy's tweets. 1. When TJ asked my mother if he should ask for temporary guardianship, my mother told TJ no, twice. 2. The estate denied Ruby, Janet, and Jermaine access to the house when they returned to home to Calabasas without a letter written by Howard Weitzman, attorney for the estate, who is not a resident of the home. 3. The estate is trying to isolate my mother from her family, just like they did to Michael, in order to propagate their lies, financial agendas, and to protect a fraudulent will. 4. The same people that are trying to manipulate my mother are the same people that were involved with my brother when he died. 5. In order to obtain temporary guardianship, TJ lied to the court. Ruby, Janet, Jermaine, and I would never harm our mother, and we are doing our best to protect her, and the estate knows that. I want to know why Perry Sanders would consider a negotiation based on lies. 6. It is clear that anyone who stands up against the executors of the estate, John Branca and John McLean, and their attorney Howard Weitzman, is denied access to my mother. 7. It is my fear and belief that they are lying to make that they are trying to take my mother's life. Please remember here also Michael's siblings' letters. The estate executors to the estate executors, their reply, and also the statement of the counsel of Janet Jackson, Blair G. Brown on behalf of Janet, Randy, and Ruby Jackson. The following is an online article, X17, online on August 2nd, 2012. Katherine Jackson, as well as Paris Prince and Blanket Jackson, are being used as pawns to cover up the fact that Michael Jackson's will is fraudulent, according to a Jackson family source. Contrary to various online reports, Katherine's children stress they are not after the money in Michael's estate. Our source adds, everyone knows that even if Michael didn't have a will written up, his children would be given the money from the estate by default. His siblings obviously aren't after his fortune because they were never set to earn it in the first place. It's about revealing the truth and who's behind the fake document. Family members believe the temporary guardianship situation was created by the estate executors as a diversion from the investigation into the validity of the will. This morning, Katherine was reinstated as guardian of Michael's 3 children, with her grandson TJ serving as co-guardian until the next court hearing on August 22nd. The source goes on to say, interesting how only those children who are removing their name from the letter to the estate executors, like Jermaine recently did, are being allowed to see their mother. The rest have been barred from seeing her or even speaking to her on the phone. The letter that's being referred to is the one sent from Michael's siblings to John Branca and John McClain, asking them to resign as co-executors of the King of Pop's estate because they failed to perform their duties. We've reached out to both Branca and McClain for comment, but have yet to hear back. They don't really care about us. No matter what people say, we know the truth. Enough is enough and it's garbage. We're deep here in fire. I'm there to remind you. Money. Lie for it, spy for it, kill for it, die for it. So you call it trust, but I say it's just in the devil's game of greed and lust. They don't care. They do me for the money. They don't care. They use me for the money. So you go to church, read the holy word. In the scheme of life, it's all absurd. They don't care. They kill for the money. Do or dare, they thrill for the money. You're saluting the flag, your country trusts you. Now you're wearing a badge, you're called the just few. And you're fighting the wars a soldier must do. I'll never betray or deceive you, my friend, but if you show me the cash, then I will take it. If you tell me to cry, then I will fake it. If you give me a hand, then I will shake it. You'll do anything for money. Anything for money, would lie for you, would die for you, even sell my soul to the devil. Insurance? Where do your loyalties lie? Is that your alibi? I don't think so. You don't care, you do her for the money. Say it's fair, you sue her for the money. Want your pot of gold, need the Midas touch. But you sell your soul 'cause your gut is such. You don't care, you kill for the money. Do or dare, the thrill for the money. Are you infected with the same disease of lust, gluttony, and greed? Then watch the ones with the biggest smiles, the idle jabbers, 'cause they're the backstabbers. If you know it's a lie, then you will swear it. If you give it with guilt, then you will bear it. If it's taking a chance, then you will dare it. You'll do anything for money. Anything for money, would lie for you, would die for you, even sell my soul to the devil. You say you wouldn't do it for all the money in the world. I don't think so. If you show me the man, then I will sell him. If you ask me to lie, then I will tell him. If you're dealing with God, then you will hell him. You'll do anything for money. Protection for gangs, clubs, and nations, causing grief in human relations. It's a turf war on the global scale. I'd rather hear both sides of the tale. Smooth criminals are dangerous. They act hidden in plain sight. This has always made me want to scream. This is the real thriller. It's going down, baby. Watch.